Taisa barely moved her feet as she climbed the stairs. I didn't want to go home. The woman was resentfully silent. Her husband also followed her in silence. Taisa kept thinking back to the meeting with her partners, remembering how unfavorable her husband had made her look. The woman kindly invited the man to the negotiating table. The agreement on the beginning of our cooperation will enter into force today. I have prepared all the necessary documents, we just need to sign them. Smiling, she placed a folder in front of each of them. Review them carefully. I tried to take into account all your wishes. The two men exchanged glances. We don't really understand. One of them spoke up. Why did you invite us today? We have nothing more to say to you. All the issues have already been resolved with your husband. You yourself redirected us to him. Of course, Taisa said patiently. I was counting on Boris to acquaint you with the terms and conditions. I think you found them very attractive. This contract is important for our company, especially for me. After all, I work to promote this deal. I think there are no obstacles to signing it. If you need to clarify any points, please suggest them. It's not too late to make some adjustments. Boris, she turned to her husband, who had been sitting there all this time, saying nothing, and pretending that the matter did not concern him. Why don't you say anything? We will not sign this agreement. Without looking his wife in the eye and visibly nervous, the man replied sharply. How can we not sign it? Taisa was confused. Wait, but we had a prior arrangement. You only had to clarify the details of the deal and agree on the time of signing. What problems? I have everything prepared. There are no contradictions. The deal is transparent. I decided that the conditions offered to us by potential partners were unprofitable for our firm. Why conclude a contract if it is initially unpromising? Think for yourself why you should invest money in a business that is not profitable for us. Gentlemen, one of the men turned to them. Please make an agreement among yourselves. We would not like to be part of your family showdown. In my opinion, everything is very clear. For God's sake, I'm sorry. Taisa turned to them. There was some misunderstanding. Let's postpone the signing of the contract for, say, 2 days. I will prepare a new set of documents and we will start working together. Probably, my husband and I didn't understand each other, but these days the misunderstandings will be clarified. I'm afraid it won't work. One of the representatives shook his head. We found other companions. My advice to you, getting up from his chair, he said, before you invite partners, be able to negotiate with each other. Your right hand doesn't know what your left hand is doing. This position is bad for business development. May I take my leave? The men left the conference room. What does all this mean? Asked Taisa, seething. Why did you do that, especially behind my back? What right did you have to refuse the deal? Why in your fright did you decide that it was unprofitable? We started developing it a month ago. Both hope to make a profitable investment. So what now? All efforts are wasted? I don't want to talk right now. Boris headed for the exit. You're annoyed. And you won't take my reasoning correctly. All right, Taisa agreed. Let's go home. Indeed, it is not necessary to solve serious issues at the end of the working day. But mind you, you won't be able to keep quiet. I want to know why you changed your mind about the deal. The woman stopped in front of the apartment door. Boris turned the key in the lock. Taisa happily threw off her business clothes and changed into a housecoat. I went into the kitchen and poured myself a glass of water. We need to talk. Her husband's tone made her wary. Not today, she grimaced. I didn't want to talk. You've already said and done a lot of things. We'll leave the explanation for tomorrow. The deal is still broken, so I think the conversation will be tolerated until the morning. And tomorrow I will calculate how much money we lost by losing suppliers. I don't have the energy for a showdown anymore. I want to sleep. My case is urgent. Boris insisted. You'll have to listen to me now. Do you want to explain why you put me in an awkward position in front of potential partners? Taisa narrowed her eyes at her husband. Come on. Just don't point out that I'm a woman and don't know anything about business. I don't think you ever had to question my abilities until recently. I have an idea of the needs of our firm, and you can't ignore my opinion. I'm not going to explain anything to you, and I'm not going to apologize either. I decided so. That's how you started talking. Not so long ago, he couldn't even take a step without me. What has changed? Why didn't you talk to me beforehand? Didn't you tell them that you weren't going to enter into a contract with the buyers? Is that how things are done? Don't you realize that you're ruining my reputation, and therefore the reputation of the firm? I just didn't get a chance to tell you. There's been too much trouble in the last few days. Didn't have time or didn't want to. Is that what it's called now? How could you not have consulted me? What kind of démarche is this? We discussed all the details together a week before signing the contract. What happened during this time? Why do I have to justify myself to you here? Boris was angry. I got acquainted with the material that these suppliers offered us, and I realized that they were not suitable. Therefore, I decided to refuse to cooperate with them. These are working moments. We'll find other, more profitable suppliers. Don't make excuses. We're partners, which means I need to know everything that's going on in the firm. Thanks to you, I looked like a small-minded, flighty person who suddenly wanted to shoot. And this is my initiative. When we started the business, you always consulted me. We made every decision together, weighed all the pros and cons of the deal, calculated every step to avoid making mistakes. And they succeeded. Together, which is important. What do I see today? Why did you allow yourself to put me in such an unpleasant situation? Why are you changing your mind behind my back? I feel like an idiot. Because you can't be persuaded if you're up to something. The benefits of this deal are zero, and you won't be able to clean up the problems later. I cared about the firm, not your reputation. So it was necessary to discuss all the nuances in advance. So you don't trust me? Do you doubt my abilities? But since the day the company was founded, there has not been a single wrong decision made by me. Why are you questioning my competence now? Taisa looked at her husband and could not understand at what point they began to move away from each other. She thought back to one of the conversations she'd had with her mother when they were just about to start their own business. Mom, Boris and I decided to open our own company. Can you imagine how great it is? Okay, sure. Who's arguing? My mother said warily. Who will you register it for? To Boris, of course. He is a man, but we will invest the money in equal shares. Remember, daughter. Her mother looked at her as if she were an unwise child. You can't put your eggs in one basket. If something happens between you, God forbid, the firm will go to your husband, and you will be left with nothing. What's going to happen? Taisa hugged her mother. Mummy, Boris and I love each other and we're not going to get a divorce. If that's what you're implying. Who knows? Who knows? Her mother said evasively. Life is, oh, so unpredictable. Well, if you're so worried about me, we can become full partners. That's better. But I think you should have your own business, open only with your own money. Joint business with spouses sometimes leads to discord. Men consider us women to be incapable of making the right decisions. If they had their way, they would not have allowed us to work at all, but would have limited our power to the kitchen and the house. My Boris isn't like that, Taisa assured her. They're all the same. My mother sighed heavily. Mommy, you're wrong about my husband. He trusts me and always advises me. I'm better at some things, and he's better at others. We have nothing to share. I wouldn't be so reckless if I were you. However, that's your business. And now Taisa understood what her mother had warned her about. And she wouldn't listen. That's not what I was going to talk about. Her husband snapped out of her reverie. I'd love to take a hot bath right now. Taisa even closed her eyes at the thought. It seems that this day will never end. Resentment against her husband haunted her. What else is he going to tell me? And about what? She looked at him intently. Tomorrow a lot of things will change in our lives. What will change? Don't speak in riddles. I want to warn you in advance so that the news doesn't come as a sudden shock to you. What the hell is going on? You're not a stupid woman. Boris began shortly. So I'm sure you figured it out a long time ago. I've had another one for quite some time. Taisa was silent. I hope you won't make a scene of jealousy. We are adults and we know that sometimes happens that a husband and wife break up. I, of course, suspected that you had another one, Taisa said, barely overcoming her heartache. Her feminine ego was hurt. She wasn't ready for such a conversation. But I pushed that thought away from you. I really hoped that you would come to your senses, get drunk, but stay in the family. Can I understand you? They say all men cheat on their wives at least once in their lives. Let's just assume that this is a misunderstanding that needs to be forgotten as soon as possible. Okay? She smiled, even though her stomach was on fire. My heart was bleeding. I wanted to get up and hit my husband. I was happy living with you, Boris continued, glancing at his wife. To be honest, I didn't plan on leaving. But, he paused emphatically, a few months ago, Alina gave birth to my heir, a son. That's why I couldn't do it. We've been dreaming about having a baby for years, and we haven't been able to do it. But she did. I want to be with her and raise my son, and you know how important that is to me. I hope we will separate peacefully." Taisa closed her eyes. The husband hit the most sick person. "I thought we were both happy with this situation. We have been together for 10 years and have long agreed that the topic of children is close to us forever. We have a lot in common, apart from the child. We have so much in common. Do these years mean nothing to you? You're just going to destroy our family like that. Just remember," Boris grimaced, "that we are together with the student body." "So it is. We fell in love at first sight. Don't you remember how we met? Anyone in my position would have lost their heads from a handsome man with a guitar in his hands. After that, I couldn't imagine life without you. We did everything together. When we got married, we started a joint business. Do you remember when we bought our first apartment?" Boris was silent. Taisa could see how unpleasant this conversation was for him. "And how you dreamed of a car, remember? So we bought it and chose it together. Our next purchase was a large apartment in which we wanted to set up a nursery, but we didn't have any children. And now you want to cancel everything for the sake of a fleeting affair? Think carefully, Boris. We've known each other for a long time, and you're just getting to know that woman for real. Are you sure about her? You shouldn't be doing your memories right now. Nothing will change. I've already made up my mind. What kind of man am I if I don't have an heir? If I can't say with pride that the family business will pass to my son? I need this baby." He hesitated. "And his mother. Our feelings for you have long since faded away. I want something new." "I understand that," Taisa said slowly. "I can't change your mind. You want to go to this woman. Well, that's your right." "No." Boris paced around the kitchen nervously. "I want you to leave." "Gone where? I don't understand." His wife looked at him quizzically. "What don't you understand? What is it?" he asked irritably. "I have a son, and heir. We need this apartment. Where will I bring my new family? Rental housing? How do you see it?" "Not really. Tomorrow Elena and her son are moving here, to my apartment." "Wait a minute." Taisa's head was spinning from her husband's impudence. "It's not just your apartment, it's ours. We bought it together, in equal shares. Do you want to live with your mistress? Please, I won't hold it. Do you want a divorce? For God's sake, I won't ask you to come back. Only everything has to be fair. We have a lot of property that we acquired in our marriage. Legally, half of it belongs to me. I'm not going to give it to your new woman. I'm not a charity. In principle, I am willing to give you the apartment, but then pay me half of its cost. And, of course, tomorrow Elena, especially your child, will not be here until I find a new place to live. Besides, I need time to pack my things. By the way, how will we divide the company?" Boris stared hard at his wife. "You still don't understand, do you? I'm not going to share anything with you. The company is registered to me." "You're wrong. The business is shared. Any court will force you to pay me half of the sale, and you won't be able to rob me. If you don't want to share it peacefully, we'll sue you." "The apartment, unfortunately." Ignoring her, her husband continued. "It's decorated in clogs, but I'm sure I can pick it up as well. You don't need anything. You're single. You have money. Should I start all over again? My new family can't wait. Money for its maintenance is needed here and now. So I'm sorry, my dear, but I'll have to give in. You can't do this to me. I'll fight for my share of the property." "For God's sake." My husband laughed nervously. "But you can't do it. Accept it. I don't want to see you in this house or in my life anymore. You're fired on all counts. I've written you off in your old age as a waste of time." He laughed again. "And Elena tomorrow." He suddenly became serious. "She will move here as a hostess, and you can't stop her from doing that. No one will dare to put a mother and child out the door. Nor will I allow it." "Okay, I'll leave, but I'll pick up my things later when I rent an apartment." Taisa saw that it was useless to argue with her husband now. He is stronger, and he probably prepared for the conversation in advance, calculated everything and thought it out. So she decided to agree with him on everything, so as not to make him angry. "I can't do it now. You know I need time. You've got all night ahead of you." Boris grinned. "If you don't pick up your things tomorrow, I'll just throw them out to make room for Elena, and change the locks on the apartment so you can't get in without hindrance. That's all. Good night, my dear. By the way, I've already filed for divorce." With that, the man left the kitchen. Taisa stared after her husband in shock. Is this the Boris I loved? What is it? She thought. Tears welled up in her eyes. No. This is a complete stranger. It turns out that I didn't know my husband at all. What should I do? She was aimlessly tracing patterns on the table with a teaspoon. So, first of all, I need to put my thoughts in order to look at the situation soberly. Put the tears away, she ordered herself, and resolutely wiped them from her face. The woman got up and made coffee. Feeling hungry, I made a couple of sandwiches and forced myself to eat. After calming down a little, I decided, I won't be able to prove anything to Boris right now, so I have to pack my things. You can't expect him to come to his senses by morning. He won't back down from his plan. His new wife probably screwed him up a lot, so there's a good chance he'll actually throw my stuff out on the street tomorrow. Apparently, the overwhelming desire to find a full-fledged family made it difficult for him to think straight. But I have to stay calm and get out of the situation to my advantage. What opportunities do I have now? While Boris sleeps, I can pick up the documents that will be required for the trial. This is first and foremost. So, she tidied up the table, looked around the lovingly arranged kitchen, then strode into the hall. I'll save my emotions for later. And secondly, I need to think about what things will be useful to me in the near future. She took out her suitcases from the mezzanine. Empty boxes and sacks came to hand. Since I have to move out of here, she told herself, I'll make the most of it. I'll start with the office. Boris is sleeping soundly, so I don't have to worry about waking him up. And I have access to the safe. She tiptoed into the study, careful not to disturb her husband. Inwardly, she praised herself for getting the code to the safe at the time. I hope he didn't have time to change the lock code. She quickly typed in the numbers she needed. The safe door opened softly. These documents will be useful to me. Carefully sorting through the papers, she reasoned. These are documents for the Dachau apartment and cars. Don't think, dear, that I'll just let you go out on the street. I attacked the wrong one. The battle between you and me is just beginning, and I intend to come out of it with honor. I'm certainly not going to leave you without your pants on. I will only legally take my own. Great. The woman put the documents in a folder. Something else I wanted to grab. She closed the safe and looked around. I bought these antiques for myself. It is unlikely that Boris's new passion will be able to appreciate them. Taisa put a miniature brass coffee maker, a matching coffee mill, and a vintage jewelry box in her bag. Let the rest stay. She packed some expensive dishes and wrapped a few paintings in cloth. What do I do with all this now? The woman looked thoughtfully at the packed items. I think we'd better get them to the car right away, she reasoned. I don't know if Boris will like my choice. She smiled ruefully. I want to believe that reason will prevail, and we will not have to divide forks, spoons, and chairs in half. Trying not to attract the attention of the neighbors, I moved my packed things to the car. Now it's just a small matter of collecting my personal belongings. Glancing gloatingly at her watch, the woman opened the bedroom door and switched on the light. What are you doing? The disgruntled husband screamed, waking up. I sat up in bed, rubbed my eyes, and looked at my watch. Are you crazy? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Why did you turn on the light? What do you want here? I have to go to work tomorrow. Everyone has to go to work tomorrow, and I'm following your orders, dear. Taisa replied calmly. She spread out two large suitcases on the floor and opened the closet doors. You told me you'd throw my things away if I didn't get them ready before morning. I can't lose my favorite dresses and costumes. I'm sorry, you didn't give me any other time. We couldn't have waited until morning, Boris said irritably, getting back under the covers. I won't get much sleep, and tomorrow's a busy day. Get used to it, dear, the woman said mockingly. You will have many sleepless nights ahead of you. Don't forget, a small child is coming to live here soon. You can't imagine the challenges ahead of you. And I can't wait. She spread her hands. In case your new wife wants to move into our apartment earlier, so I'm sorry. You left me no choice. All right, but can you get ready quickly? Boris asked with displeasure, seeing how slowly Taisa was packing her things in a suitcase. What are you doing there? Don't rush me. I mustn't forget anything, the woman shrugged, smiling to herself. In 10 years of a happy family life, I have accumulated a lot of things. With what love you bought me jewelry, outfits, remember. Finally the suitcases were packed. Taisa also moved them to the car. Perhaps, she decided, glancing at her watch, I could use a little sleep. Even if I closed my eyes for an hour, it would make my head feel better. The woman settled down on the sofa in the living room and tried to fall asleep, but she could not sleep, disturbed by the unpleasant conversation with her husband and packing her things. Half asleep, she waited until dawn. Then I quickly got to my feet, cleaned up, and drove to work in time to pick up the company documents from my husband's office before the start of the working day. Taisa smiled as usual at the security guard at the entrance. "Good morning, Kalia. I decided to start my work day early today. What are you doing? Eating too much protein." "What is it?" she asked when the guard blocked the entrance. "Let me pass, Taisa Vladimirovna." The guard hid his eyes guiltily. "I can't. Boris Viktorovich has strictly forbidden to let you into the office. I'm very nice to you, but the owner threatened to fire me. I can't lose my job, sorry. I have a mother and a wife with a child sitting on my neck. If I lose my job, we'll go all over the world. Enter my position." "Kalia," she gave him a friendly pat on the shoulder. "Don't worry, please. I'm sorry, of course, but okay. I won't set you up." "Thank you, Taisa Vladimirovna." The beau blushed. "I'm sorry. Never mind." The woman tried to smile, even though she really wanted to cry. "It's our family squabbles. I owe you an apology for being caught between two fires. I don't hold it against you, and Boris isn't so stupid," she thought as she left the building. "Wow. He made a fuss in advance so that I couldn't enter the office. I knew I'd want to pick up my documents. I won't argue with the guard. He's just a performer. I didn't want to give Boris a reason to call the police. I'd rather come back next time, when things have calmed down a bit. I'll talk to the same Kalia. They'll still let me through. He's a good guy and understands everything. I chose the wrong time, of course. The guy is afraid that the boss will show up any minute, so he behaves like this. We need to arrive at the end of the working day. We don't have a camera installed, so we can try to negotiate." With these thoughts, the woman got into the car. "Well, we'll have to find a lawyer. One of them won't be able to do it," Taisa said, flipping through her phone book. "As far as I remember, this person is considered the best in civil cases. He doesn't seem to have a single lost case, but his services won't be cheap." She looked around and started the car. "It's a good thing that Boris doesn't have access to my accounts. I'll pay you any amount of money if I can help you solve the problem with the division of property. Well, I'll try to call him. I hope he has time for me." Taisa dialed the number of the lawyer's office. "How do you do? What is it?" she asked when she heard a pleasant female voice on the other end of the line. "I need to meet your boss right away. When can he see me?" "You know." The phone paused for a moment. "Just now. A window has appeared in his schedule. You can drive up right now." "Great." The woman was delighted. "I'm on my way." "You're very lucky," the secretary said, as Taisa entered the reception area. "Alexander Yuryevich's meeting was cancelled, and he will see you personally." She quickly got up and opened the door. "Alexander Yuryevich," the girl said, "you have a visitor." "Hello, come in." As soon as he raised his head and returned to his papers, a handsome middle-aged man with neatly trimmed dark hair spoke. Dressed to perfection, clean-shaven and smelling of expensive perfume, he immediately made a favorable impression on Taisa. "Excuse me, I'll be ready to hear you out in a minute. There are a lot of things to do in production." Taisa sat down on a comfortable chair, put her purse on the next one, put her hands on the solid dark wood table, and looked around. The office was tidy. Nothing superfluous. Folders, books, office supplies on the desktop, everything was combined with the decor and incredibly corresponded to the owner of the office. "I'm listening," the lawyer finally said, looking up at her with brown eyes. Taisa began, slightly flustered, "But I found myself in a very unpleasant situation. It was unspeakably embarrassing to admit to such a good-looking young man that her husband had left her." But she gathered her strength and spoke. "My husband and I have been together for 10 years. We started from scratch together. The only thing that overshadowed our family life was the absence of children. Well, it didn't happen. I now found a young fool, seduced my husband, and he threw me out on the street." "You want your husband back?" The man narrowed his eyes at her. "No. I don't want to." My civilized people parted peacefully, without breaking dishes or mutual insults. If he thinks he'll be better off with a new wife, for God's sake, I'm not going to interfere. It's noble, though unexpected, to hear such a statement from a woman. The lawyer chuckled respectfully. "Got it. You decided to take revenge on him, punish him, leave him with nothing. I don't need to get my husband back, I don't need to rip him off. I just want to get back what's mine. What's mine by law. We acquired all the property after the wedding, so one half of it is mine, right? Here are the documents. You can read them. She placed a folder on the desk in front of him. I don't need anything extra. Just what I get when I get a divorce. By the way, my husband filed for divorce without me. Alexander Yurievich was silent for a long time, looking curiously at the woman. Taisa couldn't stand it. What? What is it? She asked, feeling uncomfortable under his gaze. Is something wrong? Why don't you say anything? Are you taking my case? Excuse me. Alexander Yurievich grinned and began to study the documents. After a while, he stared at her again. Taisa shivered, not understanding why he was looking at her like that. If you have any questions, please ask. I have nothing to hide. I don't want blood. Yes, I'm sorry that my husband did this to me, but I don't wish him any harm. He's probably right. Our relationship is over. We live together by inertia, the habit of being around, if you know what I'm talking about. He was probably the first to realize the futility of our relationship. I'm even somewhat grateful to him. Simply, she hesitated. Unexpectedly, the breakup happened. To be honest, Alexander said slowly, continuing to stare at her. I expected to see before me another trophy wife, eager to rob an unfaithful husband. Young, beautiful, and totally stupid. And here, I'm a little puzzled. I don't know what you mean, the woman said, frowning. And stop looking at me. Are you taking my case? If you are interested in more details, please ask. I will answer any questions you may have. I just have no questions for you. Everything is clear as it is. Rather, there are questions for your husband. Except that he was a fool to let a woman like that go. Taisa blushed and looked away. I absolutely cannot understand what he is counting on. The apartment was bought in marriage, is jointly owned. I looked through the documents, everything is clear. With the company, too, everything is very clear, it will have to be divided. I don't know what he's counting on. Excuse me, Taisa, can I ask you a personal question? And the money? How do you plan to split your capital? You didn't say anything about him. We never had a shared budget, so I have my money with me. The car is also registered to me, but I don't claim Boris's car. I'm interested in an apartment, a firm, and a dacha. To be honest, your case is easy to win. I'd be happy if you decided to work with me, but any lawyer can handle this case, including those who charge much less for their services than I do. You've already asked about my prices. Maybe you should contact another law firm. I don't discount my customers, even pretty ones like you. You see, Alexander, my husband is far from a fool. Ignoring his compliment, Taisa spoke up. I tried to get into the office this morning, but they wouldn't let me in. He strictly forbade the guards to even talk to me, threatening to fire me. I could have asked for permission to enter, but first of all, I didn't want to put the guard in a difficult position, and secondly, Boris is just waiting for an excuse to deal with me. I'm sure he has some sort of plan. I'm afraid he's going to forge documents related to the firm. Suspecting it, he already slipped me some papers, and I could sign them without looking. Don't you check the documents you sign? I've never had a reason not to trust him. We've been working together for a long time. We have a family and a common business. We are both interested in success. The woman paused, trying to control the tears that welled up in her throat. I can't confirm my guesses either. I don't have access to the office right now. A case that seems simple to you at first glance can lead to a huge showdown, and I would not like that. I am a peaceful person, used to negotiate, so I'm afraid to be cowardly and retreat. Boris is sure to try to take advantage and put pressure on Pity. And I want to achieve justice and get my own in the divorce. Judging by the reviews, you managed to win the most difficult cases. If you start a war with your husband, then only with you. That's why I turned to you. Don't worry about the fee. I have the money. Set a price and let's sign the contract. Taisa, as I understand it, my husband asked to vacate the apartment. Yes, I took my things. They're in my car. Where do you plan to live? Have you already managed to rent a place? Or did one of your relatives or friends take you in for a while? To be honest, I didn't even think about it. The woman looked confused. But it doesn't matter. I'll try to go home. Maybe. Boris has already changed his mind about kicking me out of his own apartment. His conscience must wake up, Taisa replied. But if he is determined, he will most likely carry out the threat and change the locks. I can't get into the apartment. However, This is generally a bad idea. There's already a seat taken. It's not for me to sort things out. I still didn't have enough to make a row in front of my neighbors. We'll have to find a place to stay for the night. Never mind. I'll think of something. Don't you want to go to the police? He will be obliged to return you the right to stay in this apartment in no time. Come home with the police and demand that I be allowed into the apartment. Don't want. It's beneath my dignity. It's easier for me to rent a place. It's not a problem if you have money. So that's it. Alexander placed the form and pen in front of Taisa. Now we will make a statement to the court with the requirement of division of property. Then we will conclude a cooperation agreement between you and me. And I will not put things off for a long time, and will immediately study your documents. All right. The woman began filling out the paperwork. I also want this to be resolved quickly. So, taking the sheets of paper from her, the man handed her the keys with determination. And this is for you. What is it? She looked at him blankly. These are the keys to my second apartment. Usually, friends, colleagues, or the most pleasant clients stay there. Now the apartment is empty. You can stay there temporarily. I'll write you the address. No. No. Taisa protested. I can't. I don't want to embarrass you. I don't want to be obligated. Don't say no. Alexander stopped her with a gesture. You will face difficult times. Let at least one of your problems be solved easily. I really don't need this apartment yet. You can live in it as long as you want, until you see fit to move out. But I'm not comfortable. Look. We're partners now, and I have to help you. Don't give up. I can see that you are very tired and need to rest. You will definitely find another apartment, but it will take time. Go now, take a bath, calm down, and put your mind in order. There is no food there. You can order something by courier, but there is wine in the bar. If you want something stronger, there's cognac. Feel free to make yourself at home. I really don't feel comfortable burdening you. I'm used to taking care of myself. Taisa felt that a little more and she would burst into tears. A stranger showed concern for her, and her husband, with whom she lived for almost 10 years, kicked her out of the house like a rootless puppy. Please stop apologizing and go. The lawyer quickly wrote something on a piece of paper and handed it to her. Here's the address. I'll call you as soon as I hand over the documents to the court. To make it easier for you to accept my help, remember that you are paying for my work. The apartment is part of the terms of the transaction. Nice bonus for hiring me. Do you agree to these terms? Thank you. You are very kind to me. I don't even remember the last time a man was so attentive. I'm used to being strong, and I'm used to protecting the weak, though not without some benefit to myself. Alexander smiled slyly. The woman smiled back, tears glistening in her own eyes. Go ahead and don't think about anything. The truth is on your side. Gain strength. You will need a lot of them to survive the legal battle. This is an unpleasant and sometimes quite painful procedure. I've seen everything, so I know what I'm talking about. You must present yourself to your husband as a strong, beautiful, confident woman. You cannot show that this situation has knocked you out of the rut and interferes with your life. Yes, I understand. I don't have to go limp. Thank you again. Taisa left the office and got into the car. She felt completely exhausted. Don't relax, she told herself. Now I'll get to the apartment that my lawyer kindly provided me with, and I'll rest there. He's right. I definitely need a rest right now. What a nice apartment, she exclaimed as she entered her new apartment half an hour later. She looked into the bedroom, into the kitchen. Okay, I'll order food from the restaurant now, but for now, I'll take a bath. I want to wash away all the troubles as soon as possible. She made a phone call, grunted with satisfaction when she heard that the order would be completed within half an hour, and went to the bathroom. She was almost dozing off, relaxing in the hot, foamy water, when the doorbell rang. Ouch! She jumped up quickly, dried herself off, wrapped a towel around her hair, put on a robe, and opened the door. Hello. A young man in uniform smiled at her affably. Your order. Thanks, Taisa answered as she accepted the packages. After seeing the young man off, she went to the kitchen. It turns out I'm hungry. Eating a salad, she was surprised to find. The meat is so tender. That's it. We need to stop. Taisa got up from the table and went into the bedroom. That's what I needed, she said, stretching out luxuriously under the covers. The woman did not have time to close her eyes, as fatigue and worrying took their toll, and she fell asleep. Taisa didn't know how many hours she'd slept, but when she opened her eyes, it was already evening. and dusk was falling outside the window. "How nice," she said, stretching. "I would have lain here without any problems or worries." "Oh, it's already evening. I've overslept everything. Stop lying around." She leapt to her feet with determination. "I need to go home and see what's going on. Maybe I shouldn't have started all this. Suddenly Boris decided to get rid of me. Well, it crossed the mind of a person with whom it does not happen. I won't blame him if he wants to apologize. We have too much in common." She cleaned up, got in the car, and drove off. Home. Stopped at the entrance. Looked up. Noticed a light in the windows. I went up to the landing and tried to put the key in the lock as usual, but it didn't work. I changed it after all. I felt an unpleasant scratch on my soul. Taisa gathered her courage and rang the bell, then stood listening. Strange, the lights are on, so someone must be home. There was silence outside the door. She knocked gently at first, then urgently. No one answered. Then Taisa started calling again. Finally, the door swung open. A young woman appeared in the doorway. Her blonde hair was loose, she wore bright lipstick, and long, unnaturally fluffy lashes framed her brown eyes. The makeup was more likely to disfigure her delicate face than add beauty. The silk robe barely covered her slender legs. "What do you want?" Despite her fragile appearance, the stranger's voice was rough and displeased. She also smokes, Taisa thought. Did they ever tell you that if people don't open the door, they don't want to see anyone? And you call me and you'll have my baby. Who are you? Hello, I want to see Boris. Call him. Taisa asked politely, trying to remain calm. The stranger guessed, are you Boris' ex? He's not here, and I don't know when he will be. Alina tried to close the door. He probably won't want to talk to you anyway. I think you've already found out. Then I'll wait for him. I need to talk to him. You can't stop me. Taisa held the door open. Let me go into the apartment. In case you don't know, half of it is mine. I have every right to be in it. There's nothing for you to do here. Alina pulled the door open again. Boris said that nothing will fall off from this apartment for you. This is my home now. I decide who gets in here. Okay. I'm sorry, I said. Taisa tried to stroke the heated atmosphere. Tell me, and he'll be back and I'll leave. I don't know when Boris will be back. You're not going to stay here all night. Go away, or you'll really wake your son. If you don't leave me alone, I'll tell Boris, and he'll deal with you. Don't expect to be able to soften me up. I know my rights. You're yelling like a victim right now, Taisa said calmly. So do not shift from a sick head to a healthy one. Just a little more, and all the neighbors will come running to watch us fight. You don't want our quarrel to get out to the neighbors, do you? I don't give a damn about the neighbors. Get out. I don't have time to talk to you. My husband will be home from work, so I have to get ready. He's so insatiable in bed. Alina giggled. However, how would you know? The passion between you is long gone. Boris complained that you absolutely did not satisfy him. Let's not discuss our bed affairs. Taisa blushed. I'll leave. Just help me satisfy my feminine curiosity. She looked at her rival questioningly. Don't worry, I'm not going to interfere with your happiness. Just answer one question. Okay, ask away. To hell with you. You can't get away with it anyway. Tell me, how old is your son? 8 months, Alina said. What's your business? She eyed the intruder suspiciously. Are you up to something? You can't do this, okay? Boris will stay with me. Forget about him. How can you compete with me? I'm young and beautiful, and you're already a spent piece. Of course I understand. Calm down. I'm not going to interfere with my ex-husband's new family happiness. Just one more question, if you'll excuse me. Why did you decide to get married right now? Not immediately after the birth of their son, but only 8 months later. What were you waiting for? Aren't you catching up? I love Boris, so I didn't want to push him. He couldn't bring himself to talk to you. You don't know what it cost me to wait. But why rush things? I'm not an animal. I gave him time to gather his strength. She knew she wasn't going anywhere. He'll marry me sooner or later. Look at yourself from the outside, and you will immediately understand why Boris chose me. Admit it, you decided to push him a little, blackmailed him, scared him that you would leave him, deprive him of communication with his son. Am I right? Is that your style? So what? Yes, I gave you an ultimatum. Either I move into your apartment before the end of the week, or I move back in with my mom. I've had enough of rented accommodation. But then he would never see his son again. What was I supposed to do? I'm tired of it. I need certainty, and my son needs a father. I was also afraid that he would get scared and change his mind about divorcing you. After all, over the past 10 years, people have become very attached to each other. And your tricks worked on him right away. He fussed and immediately made concessions to you. Well, you see, you know everything yourself. Alina grinned. You've already asked more than 2 questions. I don't have time to talk to you here. Get lost if you don't want to run into trouble, and you'll have them when Boria comes. Why are you so nervous? Taisa let go of the door and headed for the elevator, saying goodbye. It seems that you are not very sure about the future. You see, it has long been proven that a traitor will betray again one day. I'd think about it if I were you. One day Boria will see not only your body, but also your soul. I'm sure he won't like it. Don't scare me, Scarecrow. Forget the road here. Alina shouted at Taisia's back. You don't have a husband anymore. He's mine and mine alone. It's your own fault. I should have given birth to a child. Then you wouldn't have looked at any woman, but you couldn't. So I'm sorry. Move over. There's not enough money for all the rich men. Why, as far as I know, you didn't lose out either. And I can keep him. Don't worry about that. The woman was woken up by the phone ringing. Taisa. She heard Alexander's voice on the phone. One submitted the documents to the court. The first hearing is scheduled for next week. Thanks. The woman spoke in a hoarse pine voice. A summons has been sent to Boris. Be prepared for any surprises and even provocations. What are you? She smiled. Boris is not capable of this. I wouldn't be so sure. He betrayed you. A person who is trying to take away a part of his property will go to any lengths to defend it. He has a lot to fight for. I don't think he would have put forward such draconian conditions himself. You can see my mistress's hand here. I was talking to her. Wide? You can make Boris angry and complicate the process of dividing up the property. I hadn't thought of that, but he didn't call to complain. Maybe Alina hadn't told him about my arrival. We'll wait and see. But we shouldn't relax. The week passed unnoticed. Taisa appeared in court. Don't worry. Alexander took her hand reassuringly. You have nothing to worry about. Now the court will hear the parties and make a decision. I don't understand why Boris isn't here. Taisa was nervous. We have a few minutes. Stand up. The trial is underway. The secretary announced. The judge strode into the courtroom. The court session is postponed due to the defendant's non-appearance. No, she said. What does that mean? Taisa asked the lawyer in bewilderment. It means that your husband decided to delay the process, but it doesn't matter. He has nowhere to go anyway. Whether he wants to or not, he will have to share. It just takes more time. What should I do? The woman looked at Alexander in frustration. All you have to do is wait. You have somewhere to live. You don't need money, so take a break. As they say, there is a silver lining. When else is there such a good time not to think about work? Do you remember the last time you were on vacation? We were just planning to go somewhere with Boris. Taisa smiled sadly. We travel every year, always together. And now. That's great. Alexander exclaimed, looking at her reassuringly. Go. Relax, change the situation. It will do you good, if only for a couple of days. I wish it was over by now. I am very uncomfortable in front of you, Alexander. I am overstaying your hospitality. You've given me temporary shelter, but the case is dragging on. Taisa, what are you talking about? Wouldn't you help me if I was in this situation? You are no longer just a client for me. You have become a true friend for me. The man stared intently into the woman's eyes. She looked away, embarrassed. Don't think about anything. We have everything under control. Yes, I'll go to a friend's dacha. Great. Take a break and don't think about anything. Remember, I'm handling your problems now. And Taisa left for the country. The weekend flew by quickly, but the woman really felt that she was ready to continue to defend her rights, and even from a distance, she could feel Alexander's support. A week later, she entered the boardroom again. Boris is in place, said Alexander, and in a good mood. I want to believe that today's meeting will end everything. Boris entered the courtroom, accompanied by his lawyer. The judge took her seat. This is the beginning of the court session, the clerk announced. A civil case on the division of the spouse's property is being heard. The plaintiff's lawyer voiced his demands. Boris Viktorovich, I would like to hear what you disagree with the position of the applicant. Judging by the documents, the property was acquired in marriage, so each of the spouses claims half of it. No factors influencing the refusal to meet the requirements were presented. The documents are drawn up in accordance with the established procedure. I don't understand why there were difficulties. Dear court. Boris got up and cleared his throat. Maybe, according to the law, my wife has the right to a part of the apartment, Dachau, but she is alone, and I have a family, an heir. I hope that the distinguished court will take this fact into account. Why does Taisa need an apartment? Who can she bequeath it to? Someone else's uncle? To your lover? I don't want the property we've made together to go to some gigolo. I assume that Taisa will have a man who will not mind putting his paw on her inheritance, and I will be able to properly manage, including her part of the property, so that she does not become a hostage of some scoundrel. Boris Viktorovich, the court is not interested in your family problems. We must abide by the law, and according to the law, you must either transfer the property to Taisa Vladimirovna or pay monetary compensation. You don't want to understand me, Boris said hotly. Why should I give something to my ex-wife? She has enough money to buy whatever apartment she wants. It's not my fault that she couldn't bear my child. Can you imagine how a man feels when he is deprived of an heir? I waited 10 years to pick up my son. He flushed with excitement, and that's what happened. Why, she owes me that for all the wasted years, and you're bound to grant my protest. I am, you might say, a victimized person. What is he talking about? Asked Taisa softly. During Boris's fiery speech, she remained silent, only occasionally flinching at the loud voice of her ex-husband, and fiddling with the strap of her leather bag. Alexander took her hand, squeezed the cold fingers. Hold on. I'm sure that's not the worst thing to hear today. Boris Viktorovich. The judge calmly stopped him. All your arguments are full of emotions. The court needs facts. And the facts point to a reasonable claim of the applicant. Please sit down. Everything is clear with the apartment and dacha. Alexander Yurievich. She turned to the lawyer. The application states that your client has a common business with the defendant. Yes. Alexander stood up. The couple started this business together, right after the wedding. The defendant, as soon as he filed for divorce, blocked his ex-wife's access to the office. My client lost her part of the business, respectively, a source of income. I demand an explanation from the respondent. Allow me. Dear Judge, became Boris's lawyer. I'll clear things up a bit. My colleague, apparently, he jerked his head in Alexander's direction, does not have reliable information. Taisa Vladimirovna placed her share at the disposal of Boris Viktorovich. Here. Dear court, he placed the documents in front of the judge. It is indicated here that today the co-owner is Mikhail Grigorievich Suvorov, and Taisa Vladimirovna has nothing to do with the company, since she is already the ex-wife of my client, and the entrance to the office is prohibited. The respondent has every right to impose bans on visiting the office at its own discretion, since this is a private territory. Taisa jumped up from her seat. I didn't sign any papers. Boris, she said to her husband in confusion. Did you fake my signature? Come on, my dear, said Boris gloatingly. I would never do that. And why? You signed your own resignation from your share of the business, and I appointed Mikhail as a co-owner instead of you. Any graphological examination will confirm the authenticity of the documents. I'm sorry if you've forgotten that you've resigned. That's not my problem anymore. What a scoundrel you are! The woman exclaimed angrily. You swindled the papers. I couldn't sign them of my own free will. You're lying. Did you hear that, Madam Judge? There was a note of hysteria in Boris's voice. She insulted me. Please put this on the record. I demand to fine her. She insulted me in front of witnesses. Now do you understand why I left her? She wasn't above blaming me for all the problems before. Sit down. The judge rebuked him and forced him to sit down with a look. And you? She glanced warningly in Taisa's direction. I'm issuing a warning. Just a warning. Boris jumped up again. Do you think she can safely humiliate me in front of others and only get a warning? I'll complain. I won't let it go. I know my rights. I'm making a comment to you already. The judge pinned the man to the spot with a stern look. If you don't stop your tantrum, I'll ask you to be escorted out of the courtroom. Alexander Yurievich. She turned to the lawyer in a flat voice. Do you have something to say about this? My client claims that she did not sign such documents. I have no reason not to trust her. Therefore, I ask you to appoint a graphological examination. Taisa Vladimirovna suspects that her signature could have been obtained fraudulently. Taisa Vladimirovna. The judge had no right to show sympathy to any of the participants in the trial. Still, She thought she saw a flicker of sympathy in her eyes. "What can you explain about this controversial issue, Your Honor?" Taisa was confused. "Of my own free will, I could not sign these papers. Starting a joint business was my idea. Over the years, we have developed our company together. This is my only source of income. Voluntarily handing over your share is the same as chopping off your right hand. In general, have you ever planned to transfer the management of the company into the hands of your husband?" The woman recalled that a few months ago, Boris persuaded her to rewrite the documents for him. "There was a conversation, but I gave up the idea. I found it odd that he would insist on this, but I couldn't imagine that he would take advantage of my gullibility. Apparently, even then, he decided to remove me from business, just waiting for an opportunity." Well, the judge looked around the room. "The meeting is suspended. Grant the plaintiff's request to conduct a graphological examination." She banged the gavel to announce that the meeting was over. Everyone in the room filed out of the hall. "You can't prove anything anyway," Boris grinned. "It didn't work out with the Dacha apartment, but you won't get the firm, and the compensation is unknown when you will wait. I will slow down its payment as much as possible. Turns out you can be mean. I'm sorry I didn't really get to see you until now." Taisa responded to his attack. "Don't take heart." Alexander tried to calm her down. "We'll fight again." "No, Sasha." Taisa felt completely overwhelmed. "It won't work." "Most likely." Boris slipped the documents he needed into the nuts of the papers that he had to sign recently. "It's my own fault." She waved without looking. "I always trusted him like I trusted myself. What am I paying for now? We can't prove that I did it by mistake. My signature. There is no doubt about it. He wouldn't have acted so brazenly if he wasn't sure." "And who is Mikhail?" Alexander asked. "Where did it come from?" "This is a friend of Boris's. Wasn't he surprised that you'd transferred your part of the business to him?" "We don't know how Boris explained my decision to him," Taisa said. "He probably doesn't even know that he's unwittingly complicit in our fight. Today I saw another Boris, and this other one is capable of any meanness." They went back to their cars. "Taisa, how would you like to sit in a cafe? Would you like to have a cup of coffee? Discuss our next steps?" "I agree." The woman was delighted. "To be honest, I don't want to be alone right now. Your support is very important to me." They stopped at a cafe, sat down at a table, and ordered coffee. "Sasha, and maybe, well, this company, I don't want to continue the lawsuit. I'm tired of it, and I'm ashamed of it. Boris will return the money for my apartment and dacha, so I will definitely not stay on the street now. I don't want to see him again. I want to forget that life and start from scratch. As for the business, I can easily organize a new one. I'm not used to it. I was never a kept woman. We were equal partners. I have a lot of ideas in my head. I have the strength, but I don't need anything else. It's not easy to start from scratch, but I'm a strong woman." "Taisa." Alexander admired her. "Why don't we switch to you?" "I don't mind." The woman smiled. "We'll finish this whole story, and then we'll start a new one. Ours and yours. I don't really understand what's going on, but I like your attitude." Alexandra took her hand. "Were you serious just now?" "And us?" "Yes," Taisa said simply. "You've become really dear to me, and you're the only one who supported me I can trust right now. So, why don't we go to my place?" The woman saw the passion in the man's eyes. "Not this time." Taisa smiled at him guiltily. "I need to prepare for the meeting with Boris. I think it will be painful for him." With that, she stood up. "Walk me to my car, please. It's been a long day, and I need to clear my head and be alone." Everyone got into their own car. Taisa arrived at the apartment and found a folder with documents among her things. She sat down on the sofa in the living room and sorted through her papers. She sat with the folder in her hands for a moment, thinking, then got up resolutely, stuffed it into her bag, and dialed her husband's number. "Boris, we need to meet tomorrow. What do you want from me?" "What is it?" he asked rudely. "You expect me to return the firm to you?" "I shouldn't have. It's just mine. You've had enough of what you got. There's nothing else to talk about. I have a different life, and I want to forget about you forever." "Calm down." The woman grimaced. "I'm not going to sue you for anything else." "Then there's no need to meet. I don't want to waste my time on empty conversations. You're nothing to me anymore. And don't you think I just don't want to see you? It's enough for me to meet you in court. Believe me, this is first and foremost important to you," Taisa assured him. "Come to our place, I'll be waiting." Believe me, I wouldn't be distracting you from your family concerns if it weren't for the severity of the problem. All right, Boris muttered. Let's see what you're going to take me away from work for. But I know you like the back of my hand. You won't be able to make me feel sorry for you. I'm not going to convince you of anything. Just talk. I repeat, this is in your best interest. I won't keep you long, don't worry. She hung up and went to the bathroom. I stood under the hot shower for a long time, as if trying to wash away the remnants of a hard day. Sleep overcame her as soon as she closed her eyes. The next day Taisa sat on a bench in a small park under a huge lilac bush and waited for Boris. This was once their place. She spotted him from afar and waved her hand. What is it? He asked, stopping in front of her. The meeting place was not chosen by chance. You're trying to bring up an old memory in me. Don't try. It won't help. No, Taisa said, shaking her head. You think too much of yourself. It's just that there aren't many people here. No one will bother us, and we can talk in peace. You shouldn't be trying. You are my unfortunate past. Only now I'm really happy. I have the woman I love and the son I've been dreaming about all these years. Understand that you have no chance to negotiate with me. For the sake of my child's future, I am capable of many things, even forgery. But you can't prove anything. It's a pity that you're acting like a narcissistic egotist. Greed and malice have covered your eyes. You completely forgot that I have nothing in common with the woman you drew in my guise. But I didn't come here to call your conscience to account. Your family life has put her too far to sleep. However, it doesn't matter. I came to give it to you. She held out a folder of papers. What is this? What is it? He asked suspiciously. Do you remember when we were in the clinic for a checkup about 5 years ago? About your infertility? Well, yes. We took tests together then. The woman placed the folder on the bench next to her. That's what you're supposed to do to find out who's having problems. I remember when the doctors said it was because of you that we couldn't have children. We were still being treated, but it didn't help. Yes, I remember it all very well. But what's the point of this conversation now? I lied to you then, Taisa replied calmly. She nodded at the documents. It's all written. I just loved you too much. In general, the problems were not with me, but with you. You're the one who can't have kids. You are barren. Are you kidding? This can't be happening. The doctors were all saying that you were infertile, and they couldn't help you. They said so at my request. I couldn't let you feel guilty. I didn't want to humiliate your manhood. I was ready to take on the burden of responsibility. I did everything for you, for your peace of mind. At the time, I thought the sacrifice was worth it. No, I don't believe you, and I have proof. My son, if I'm barren, then whose is it? That's a question I think your new wife should ask. Taisa shrugged. And study the documents at your leisure. I have no advantage in deceiving you. If you want, go to the clinic where we apply. The medical cards have been preserved. That's all I wanted to tell you. You see, you shouldn't have been afraid. Our meeting was short-lived. She got up from the bench and walked slowly down the alley. Boris stared at the folder in horror. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. She gave it to me on purpose just now. Envy's my happiness, my beau, my daisy. No one can take him away from me. Instill distrust in my wife, my Elena. He picked up the folder with shaking hands, sat down on the bench, and opened it. No. No. The man repeated desperately, flipping through the medical records. That's not true. Why had she been silent for so many years? It turns out that I am. Is it my fault? Is it because of me that we didn't have children? Am I infertile? Does this really happen? He groaned in impotent rage, threw the folder away, the papers flying everywhere, clutched his head, rocked from side to side, repeating, It can't be. It can't be. I don't believe it. Why did she take all the blame? What for? And I'm a fool. I've spent my whole life reproaching her. God, what a fool I am. Boris didn't know how long he sat there. Then he woke up, carefully folded the information in a folder, got up and walked down the alley to the car. He felt sick, and his eyes were clouded. The man got into the car, started it, and drove off. He drove the car, circling aimlessly around the city. Finally, his eyes fell on the bar sign, and he turned off the engine and went inside. Vodka. 200, he said to the bartender, plopping down on a chair. Can I help you? The young man placed the glass in front of him, looking at the man sympathetically. No. Boris shook his head, draining the contents of his glass in one gulp. No one can help me. Do you understand? He stared blearily at the bartender. I just found out I can't have kids. I understand. What do you understand? The man snapped at him. I'm not a man. This is a sentence. Life is over for me. Have you had any more? He pushed the empty glass toward the bowl. Do you think there's one like this? The main thing is to have a loving wife nearby. And children. They can be adopted. How many children are being raised in orphanages? As far as I know, this is quite easy to do. I don't want someone else's. I've always dreamed of my own. I blamed my wife for not being able to give me an heir. But she did. She hid the fact that I was infertile. Can you understand? Everyone pointed fingers at her, and she took the blame on herself, took care of me, protected my male ego, and I cheated on her. Can you imagine? I cheated on her because I was excited to be a father. Noble woman, the bartender said, refilling Boris's glass. What the hell do I need her generosity for? The man gulped down the glass. You can't understand how I feel right here. He pounded his chest with his fist. I'm crushed. He pinched the bridge of his nose with his fingers, then slammed his fist down on the tabletop. The glass bounced and tinkled miserably. Calm down, please. The young man looked at the customer warily and took the glass from him. This is not a fatal diagnosis. They live with it. But for me it's death. He looked at the bartender with drunken, bloodshot eyes. Because now my wife, new wife and son are waiting for me at home. No. The diagnosis is correct. I have studied the results of the tests. The mistake is waiting for me at home, and I need to fix it. Boris dropped the money on the table and staggered out of the bar. Somehow I got to my apartment and rang the doorbell. Are you crazy? Alina snapped at him, indignantly. You know Ramishka is sleeping right now. Where are your keys? Are you drunk? You bastard. Why did you get drunk? With what, Joe? I let her come into the house like this. Yes, I'm drunk. Staggering, Boris pushed her aside and went into the hall. God, I wish your son could see you now. My son? Boris laughed bitterly. He can't be my son. How dare you say that? Alina was indignant. What happened to you? You're not yourself. Go sleep it off. Yes, I'm not myself, because you are. You deceived me shamelessly. The woman stared at him. What are you trying to accuse me of? Go to the bedroom. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Tell me. Boris pushed her against the wall. What child did you give me? Admit it. Bitch. I'll find out anyway. And then there will be no mercy. I'm in pain. Alina screamed, fighting back. What are these offensive hints? How can you suspect me of anything? This is your son. You know how much I love you. I don't need anyone but you. I don't believe you. Boris went into the living room without undressing. Why are you mad at me? The woman began to cry. What have I done wrong? If I've done something wrong, just tell me, and put your suspicions to rest. I've never cheated on you. I don't need to. I readily believe that. Boris agreed suddenly, because I was afraid I'd throw you and your brat out on the street. After all, you got him before you even got me. I calculated everything, put all these things in order, and I fell for it like a fool. You must be crazy. I don't want to hear this nonsense. Alina wanted to leave, but Borisov suddenly grabbed her by the arm and pulled her towards him. You're not going anywhere until you tell me whose child it is. At least I have a right to know who his father is. Yes, it's yours, the woman shouted desperately. The fruit of our love. Don't you remember how happy you were when I told you I was expecting a baby? At that moment you were ready to carry me in your arms, and now you're accusing me of God knows what, and I don't know why. Oh, I get it. She suddenly calmed down and spoke softly. You're mad about the divorce and the division of property. You're on edge. I'm even willing to forgive you for getting drunk. Let's both calm down now. You go to bed, and we'll talk tomorrow. And from the nursery came the sound of a child crying. Well, your son is awake. He's not my son. Don't you dare call him mine. Well, what are you talking about? Of course, it's yours. Yes, I can't have children. I'm infertile. Absolutely. How barren? Alina asked in confusion. You said that Taisa has some health problems, but you are doing well. Yes, that's what I thought. It turned out that it was my fault that we didn't have children. Maybe it's a mistake. You know, doctors make mistakes sometimes, too. Or did your ex-wife decide to take revenge on you for cheating? There's no mistake. Boris sat down wearily on the sofa and handed her a folder of documents. Here, see the test results. I'm sterile. Taisa hid it from me for the sake of my own peace of mind. And you You took advantage of the situation and forced someone else's child on me. Why did you do that? I loved you so much. Destroy my established world for you. I thought this was my happiness. But it turned out that he had warmed an ungrateful creature on his chest. I did everything for you, threw my wife out of the house, and you don't even have the guts to tell me to my face that you cheated on me. I wonder when you were going to tell me the rum wasn't from me. It would be fun if your lover showed up on your doorstep one day and said, "Son, I'm your daddy." Do you know how a person who has been deceived feels? At least now act nobly. You know I have enough money to find out the truth. But then don't count on mercy. Speak up. I'm giving you one last chance. Otherwise I'll throw you out on the street with him right now. Don't trust my conscience. I lost everything when I did something mean to Taisa. Yes. Elena, who had already looked at the documents and realized that she would not be able to get out of the confession, decided to open all the cards. It's not your child. I don't love you. Satisfied now? I don't want to see you and your son again, said Boris, slowly getting up. Elena backed away. The man looked creepy. I'll leave now, and when I get back in the morning, I don't want your ghost in my house. A child. It's not his fault that he is such a mean mother. So for the first time, I'll give you some money so you can get settled in. It's the only thing you can count on. And thank God, I didn't report you to the police for fraud. You're dead to me. Boris left, slamming the door behind him. In the nursery, Rama began to cry. Elena rushed to him, took him in her arms, comforting him, and began to cry. My God. What a fool I am. After all, everything turned out so wonderful. Boris did not even doubt that it was his child. And what now? Where will I go with my son? Back to your mother. I can't believe it all collapsed. She calmed her son down, put him to bed, and went into the bedroom. Suddenly, the phone rang. Boris, delighted. Elena snatched up the phone. What are you doing, friend? Margot, who had been friends with her since high school, was laughing at her. It's me. Hello, the woman said softly. I thought you two had a fight, Boris. They didn't just fight. He demanded that I get out of his house. She began to cry. I'm desperate. I have nowhere to go. But why did he do this to you? You had such a tender love. I even envied. And the baby. You've been telling everyone that Boris dotes on rum. He had no children with his first wife. Did he give up the heir? You bastard. I didn't expect it. That's the whole point. Elena cried. He found out that Rama wasn't his son. Why not his son? Margot asked. Then whose is it? Wait. Is it really Sergei? Well, you. Mother, give. What was I supposed to do? We've been together for so long. And then Boria appeared. Do you think I might have missed it? He is a very well-off person. He has his own well-promoted business. And Surya's, what will you take? Wait. I don't get it. Were you dating them at the same time? Elena shrugged her shoulders. I loved Surya's, but I kept Boris as an alternate airfield, so it came in handy. When I got pregnant, I thought Sergei would be happy. We would be together. He would make me an offer. I even gave up on the fact that he wasn't rich. We could have worked something out together. And he gave up on his son. He said he didn't want to be a burden. It was too late to have an abortion. And Boria. He talked about the heir so often that I didn't hesitate to tell him about the baby. And he believed it. Sergei disappeared from my life. Then I took a close look at Boris. He didn't even have to be convinced. And he believed that the child was his. Of course, what else could he do? He'd been dreaming of an heir for 10 years, and now he was so happy. For my sake, he divorced his wife and took the firm away from her. And everything was going well for me, if not for his wife, who 10 years later decided to confess to her husband in forgery of documents. He's sterile. He can't have children. Damn it. Margot swore. Now what? Did he kick you out? He won't forgive me. Elena paused, swallowing back her tears. He told me to get out of his apartment. I do not know what to do. Where am I going with Rama now? I hate this Taisa. She ruined all my plans. Don't worry about it. If Boris can't have children, let him adopt Rama. Talk to him, cry, and see if it works. Won't he forgive you? He still needs an heir. And here you are, and your child. And he loves you. Now I don't know what a fool I am. I must have made such a mistake. Stop crying and wait until morning. Can't you seduce a man? Wait for him. Meet him in beautiful underwear. Set the table. Should I tell you how to please a man? I'm sure you can win him back. But why am I so unlucky? Sergei ran away from me. Now Boris, what's wrong with me? Don't worry, my friend, all is not lost yet. I don't know, you should have seen him. He came in so drunk and angry. Stop whining, the morning of the evening is more complicated. Pull yourself together, poach for pity. Men, they love defenseless women, believe me. I know what I'm saying. Only late in the evening did Taisa reach home. She parked the car and headed back to her room. Before reaching the entrance, I slowed down when I noticed Alexander on the bench. Next to it was a huge bouquet of white roses. What are you doing here? What is it? She asked as the man rose to meet her. For some reason, I was sure that you would be sad. After talking to Boris, I decided to come and support you. He handed her the flowers. You're an amazing woman, and I can't stop admiring you. So much self-control, so much patience, so much human dignity. Alexander looked at her tenderly. I've never met a woman like you. Thank you very much. Yes, you're right. I'm really sad. You know, it was very difficult for me to put an end to my relationship with Boris. After all, 10 years together. But now it was very easy for me. I got rid of the shadows of the past. Fate itself has put everything in its place. Evil is punished. I am no longer interested in my husband's new family, nor does his attitude towards me affect me. I'm glad my life has changed so dramatically lately. I do not regret anything, because next to me you, Taisa, hugged a man tightly. So, everything will be fine now.